Hi, and welcome to my cooking show. You're wondering if you heard me correctly, because you see that I'm in a hotel room. But you did. This is a cooking show. And my goal is to show you that you can cook quality meals while staying in a hotel room. Who I am is not important, but what I'm doing is. So sit back, relax, and enjoy Hotel Cooking Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to my office. As you can see today, my office is a hotel bathroom. I just want to assure you that I've cleaned this bathroom with Clorox from top to bottom, and it's now clean enough to prepare my meal in. And that meal is going to be stuffed bell peppers. We begin with a pound of ground chuck, bell peppers, spices, ketchup, hot sauce, and some other ingredients. So what we're going to do, with no further ado, is we're going to spice the hamburger after I wash my hand and prepare to get these bell peppers stuffed. So the spices that I will be using are paprika. We're going to put a couple of pinches in the hamburger. Comino, also known as cumin. Do a couple pinches of that. And then I'm also going to add some sweet basil. Now, you're welcome to use fresh spices, different spices, whatever works for you. These are just the spices I chose. While I mix up this hamburger, sorry, before I do that, I'm going to add some ketchup. Gotta love that sound. And I'm going to spice it up with just a little tapatio. Okay. Now, while I mix it up, I just want to tell you about something. What I did is I went to a local store that sells used goods, and I purchased this toaster oven for $29. It's the easiest, quickest way to get a cooker, and I suggest going to look for the cooker before you decide what to make, because it kind of depends on what they have as far as what your options will be. I also picked up two other cookers. We'll work on showing you how to use those later. Today, we're working with the toaster oven. So I'm going to bake. I'm going to add a couple more things to the hamburger before I stuff the peppers. And put some Himalayan salt. And fresh peppers, fresh ground peppers. And mix it up one more time. Now there's an option at this point where you can make your hamburger more like what? More like what? Meatloaf. Oh, meatloaf. And in order to do that, because I think I am going to go that route, I'm going to use bread. Now this bread, as you can see, is hot dog buns. Why am I using hot dog buns? A couple different reasons. They're cheap, they work really well, and they're, what's the word for it? They're already kind of like stale bread because the whole outside of it is a little bit crispy, a little bit cooked, rather than just the outside edges like sliced bread. You could also use panko or dried breadcrumbs or whatever you choose, but I'm just going to put a little bit bread in there from these hot dog buns. Then we'll be ready to stuff these peppers. Put one whole hot dog bun in this pounded meat. Okay. I know I told you I was already ready, but I changed my mind. Decided to go the meatloaf route. And because I did that, I'm going to add a little extra ketchup. And here comes that sound we all love again. Right. So, in order to show you the pepper before it's ready to be stuffed, show you how to prepare it, we're going to cut the top of it open like you would a pumpkin before you carve it. Pull the top off, and then we're going to pull out the soft webbing inside. It's not necessary, but I like to pull out those parts. Okay, make sure your seeds are out. I've done that already with 2 other bell peppers. Oh, another important thing about the bell pepper. You want a bell pepper that has a good foundation. It stands well. It's not going to fall over. It sounds obvious, but you're really going to have to look through the bell peppers to find ones that will stand. And that especially holds true with the orange and red bell peppers. With green bell peppers, a lot of them have a firm base that'll stand up well, but it's harder to find the orange and red ones with that feature. Okay, so we're going to stuff these bell peppers with our hamburger mixture. You don't want to make it super tight in there. You want to give it a little room to expand and for the juices to be able to move around and to where it doesn't come out the top real big. And we're going to lay those on our pan. Meanwhile, I did not preheat, so we're going to start that process now, and we're going to heat to 375. And you pull the pan out while it preheats. Okay, start the second one. Get plenty of that in there, but not too tight. And then stuff the third one. You're bound to have some hamburger left over unless you get bigger bell peppers or prepare less hamburger. There's enough here for almost exactly 1 more, but I only purchased 3 bell peppers. So we're going to use that last bit to cook something else. Obviously, that something else is going to be meatloaf. But anyhow. Meanwhile, I'm going to let that heat the rest of the way. And there's obviously other things you can put in a bell pepper. A stuffed bell pepper can have rice, chicken, turkey, whatever type of stuffing that you choose. You can also stuff tomatoes. And there's other vegetables that stuff well, like the bell peppers. I just like the flavor of the bell peppers mixed in with the hamburger. And there's another thing. Normally, I would boil the bell peppers for just a moment. It takes a little of the bitterness out of the vegetable and allows them to be a little sweeter. The trouble with that is it makes them soft pretty quickly, so you have to have just that right amount of time in the boiled water to where it's not going to fall over while it's baking because it's become too soft. So you find that right amount of time in the boiling water, use some tongs, dip it in there, and then stuff it and bake it, and you'll find a little less bitterness in the bell pepper. Okay, this oven heats pretty quickly because it's small and it's a good model. And I will say that model when they agree to pay me to say that model. Anyhow, something else that I wanted to make. You don't just want to have a main course, you want to have something to go with it. So I've picked up something else. And that is sweet potato. So I'm going to show you how to prepare candied yams. By the way, sweet potatoes and yams are not the same thing, but people generally know them to be, which is why the can says sweet potatoes and cut yams. Go figure. Yams are healthier and a different color. They're a little more white in color and very good to eat. Today we'll have sweet potatoes masquerading as sweet potatoes and yams. And then after we've put them in the pan, add our brown sugar. You can put whatever amount you choose. I'm going to take about 3 hefty pinches, maybe a little more, for good measure. And then all you need is marshmallow. Put some marshmallows on the top. Again, you can spread them out, or you could put a bunch of them in there and make it melt all over the potatoes. Go with a couple more. Give it a little extra sweetness. And then you're going to want to cover that up with some foil. And then you'll want to cook this mixture at about 400 degrees. You can do that once our bell peppers are complete. If your oven is big enough, you could do both at the same time. Cook the bell peppers are cooking at 375, And the potatoes can also cook at 375. You'll just need to leave them in there longer. It's going to take about 35-40 minutes to prepare these bell peppers. If the temperature is 400 on the sweet potatoes, those will be done in roughly the same amount of time, 35-40 minutes. Ooh, this is gonna be good. Okay, so the bell peppers have been cooking for about 50 minutes. They're about to be finished. And we're gonna pull them out and check to make sure that they're done and see if we need any more time. Down to about 1 minute, so we're just gonna cut it off. Open it up. You need to be really careful not to burn yourself. What I'm going to do is pull out one of these bell peppers. And I'm going to cut it in half to ensure that the hamburger is thoroughly cooked. Then I'm going to show this to you. Try not to move the camera too quickly. And there you have it. That's a perfectly cooked stuffed bell pepper. And so our next move is to take the bell peppers out of the oven carefully. I'm going to put them on top of the cooker. I'm going to add this other bell pepper that I cut open to them in a way that it will be held closed. And then I'm going to place the sweet potatoes or candied yams in the oven and cook those at 400 for 45 minutes. Ooh, I can't wait 45 minutes. Okay, so my candied yams have been in the oven for 35 minutes. I can see there's a lot of steam in there. The top's puffed up. But we're going to open that up. Try not to burn myself. See how that turned out. You can see that my marshmallows tried sticking to my foil a little bit. So help that break loose. Right. Definitely looks like that was enough time. So let me let you see how that looks in here. Okay. A lot of sticky marshmallow. All right, so I'm going to take that out. Serve some of it up. And then put it back in for now. I forgot to mention earlier that you want to cover up your stuffed peppers with foil and leave them on top of the oven so that the heat can keep those nice and warm for you. And now I'm going to serve up one of those. And then one last thing I want to do is add an avocado to the meal. And I have this habanero hot salt that I'm going to sprinkle on the avocado. And it doesn't take much. It is pretty spicy. Put a little bit of ground pepper on it. And I don't need salt because I already put the habanero salt. Now, let me show you what I've prepared. That's my stuffed bell pepper, candied yams, and an avocado. I will be enjoying that this evening instead of going out for food. And you can do all of this while you're watching a movie on your laptop, while you're watching a game, listening to a game on the TV outside of there. You go back and forth and watch it during the times when you're cooking. And there you have it. Enjoy your meal. I know I will.